Are you the kind of person who loves charming little old towns? Then you're going to love what I have for you today. Deep in the heart of Yucatan's jungle lies a town well known and beloved amongst locals for its beautiful colonial layout, the many delights available, its communion with nature, and above all, its hospitality. Located exactly in the middle between Mérida and Cancun is Valladolid. A once hidden gem is now a cultural and touristic hub. What once was a favorite amongst locals who wanted a small getaway from the city noise has become a trendy tourist destination for people from all over the world. But some of these people have fallen in love with Valladolid and decided to make it a permanent stay. Do you think you could be the next one? Give it a look in this video and see if this is the place for you. Bienvenidos a Valladolid. Valladolid's weather is tropical and it's pretty warm year-round. I'd say that the average temperature year-round is somewhere around 90 to 93 degrees Fahrenheit. But to make it an average for 12 months is a bit crazy, isn't it? So let's say there's a hot and not so hot season. The hot season would be most of the year, from March to late October, where daily highs can go between 95 degrees Fahrenheit and lows are somewhere in the average of 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the cool season, or the not so hot season, would be between October and February, when it's still pretty warm, but the daily average does drop to more or less between 90 degrees Fahrenheit for the highs and 72 degrees for the lows. As part of the Yucatan Peninsula, Valladolid is prone to hurricanes. The hurricane season here lasts between July and October. Keep in mind that weather is tricky, and while these averages are accurate, there could be variations and extraordinary days where temperatures do go above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, as well as some days in winter where it could get below 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Valladolid is a small town. Now, according to a 2020 study, the total population is around 86,000 people. It's also small sized, especially if you come from a very large city. It's simple to understand in terms of navigation since it consists of basically two perfect axes crossing the city, north to south and east to west. This makes it a very walkable town, as you'll have everything nearby and the pace of life is calm and peaceful. Strolling around the town is a nice experience all in itself. Sure, there can be some noise, but not as much as in big cities, and the town is safe everywhere you go. Since its incorporation into the Pueblo Mágico program, the town has seen a lot of changes, both in infrastructure and in also social dynamics. The government makes a lot of efforts to maintain the old world charm and give them new life, which has also brought all kinds of investors. Little by little, this charming old town is becoming more and more cosmopolitan. There's a growing artistic community, so it's common to see art galleries, designer showrooms, workshops, and boutiques, as well as upscale restaurants and bars with international food and options. So not only the local places, but also some things that cater to tourists. Since it has gained international recognition as a tourism destination, the amount of bilingual people has also grown. However, always it's wise to keep your expectations low, and learning Spanish is absolutely a must. This is a more laid-back town where time goes by slowly and life in town is really sometimes uneventful. I'm not saying it's boring, but it's not a party town, not even close. So I would say Valladolid is a perfect little town to retire if your idea of going to a warm, beautiful place where you can still hear the chirping of the birds in the morning and be a bit secluded. Now, the first thing you're probably going to be wondering is, what is the cost of living in Valladolid, and what are some neighborhoods that you recommend me living in? Well, one thing you have to keep in mind when looking for a place to rent or buy in Valladolid is the age of the buildings. I've been saying this is an old town, and the status of Pueblo Mágico comes with the price, meaning that you need to keep certain standards when it comes to the town's look. So you won't see any modern buildings or a lot of construction going on, and if you see any of it, it would be on the outskirts of the city. Many old houses are remodeled, and they provide all the regular modern life amenities that you're used to. Some others are only maintained, and while they're not in bad shape, they could lack in comfort or functionality. In any case, the size of the town makes your house hunting a lot easier. There are neighborhoods or barrios like Santa Ana, La Candelaria, Cisal, San Juan, Bacalar, San Francisco, and a lot more. But for practical purposes, I'll try to narrow down rent prices to one average for the whole town. It really doesn't make any difference which neighborhood you choose. Prices, amenities, distances, and vibe will be pretty much the same throughout the whole city. Unless you rent on the outskirts, and some things could change, but not drastically. So let's say a realistic average for a modest 2-bedroom, 2-bath, fully furnished house with a patio in Centro or near Centro is going to cost you somewhere around 8,000 to 12,000 pesos a month. Now this is renting, right? And I'm pretty sure you can find them even cheaper than that, but I'm thinking of a well-maintained house with almost new furniture and nice interior, somewhere that I know you're going to be comfortable in. To give you a better idea, we found 1-bedroom apartments starting at 4,000 pesos, semi-furnished and in mild conditions. We also came across 4-bedroom houses going for 60,000 pesos a month or more, completely remodeled and fully equipped with top-notch furniture and interiors. So it's all a matter of what you're looking for and also what you're willing to compromise. The 3 most used search engines for rents are inmuebles24.com, vivaanuncios.com, and Facebook Marketplace. From there, you can get an idea, although keep in mind that these are websites used mostly by locals. I would say avoid Google searches like long-term rentals in Valladolid, since you'll come across mostly expat sites with expat prices. And even still, I would say that the best way to find a nice rental, a nice deal, for the right amount is to spend at least 2 weeks in Valladolid, get in touch with a real estate agent before your arrival, schedule an itinerary, and do your house hunting in person. Nothing beats the old driving by and picking up numbers from signs on windows or on walls. But if you're going to do that, once again, I suggest you learn Spanish. If you want to use the same channels as locals and get local prices, then you're going to need to learn some Spanish to be able to negotiate some of these things, instead of getting the gringo tax. If you don't already know Spanish and you want to avoid some of these common things, then I suggest making a friend with a local or hiring a realtor that can help you and be your liaison in your house hunting needs. Now, another thing that you have to keep in mind is a lot of you are probably going to be scouting an area before you actually decide to stay long term. A lot of sites that people use are Airbnb, Booking.com, or something like Expedia, where you can find, maybe a hotel room or a nice furnished 1-bedroom apartment while you do some of your scouting or while you do some of your learning about a particular city. Keep in mind that Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, any of these external sites are going to come at a cost, especially if you're looking at renting, 1 to 2 months at a time, maybe even up to 6 months. However, also keep in mind that many landlords want at least 6 months commitment before they sign a lease over to you. So just bear in mind that part of your moving costs will probably include higher costs to rent for the first few months while you find your permanent home. Another expense that you have to keep in mind is utilities. Electricity could and most likely will be your highest expense of the month besides your rent. That is because of the heat and humidity. Trust me, you're gonna need air conditioning while you live in Valladolid. This will raise significantly the cost of your electricity bill. So let's say that you'll end up paying somewhere between 2,000 to 4,000 pesos every 2 months for a 2-person household. Water is going to cost you anywhere between 300 to 500 pesos a month for a 2-person household. Gas is going to cost you between 600 to 700 pesos every 2 months. Now make sure to ask your landlord what kind of gas tank is in your place. Also ask the landlord which is a company of choice. There are several in Valladolid. Internet will also depend on your needs, but the prices you can expect to range between 300 to 1,800 pesos a month. The main providers are Telmex and TotalPlay. Getting fiber optic could be tricky. Before you get internet service, make sure to ask the company if they can provide this technology in your neighborhood. They will need an address. Another option is also satellite internet through a company like Starlink. However, keep in mind that you need to have a very good clearance, usually access to a roof or something like that, where you can point your antenna to a satellite up in the sky. Another common local expert tip is that if you're working from home, you need to have really good, reliable internet. A lot of people end up having two services. That way, if one of them is down or doesn't have the best connection that day, they can connect to their backup. Usually, this is a good method for ensuring that you have the highest speed internet available to you at any given time. Before we go further in the video, don't forget to give this video a like if you're enjoying this overview of Valladolid so far. And also, I would love to know where you're watching us from, so let me know in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to get our free Living in Mexico email series. I just recently updated it with a lot of information that'll help you decide if Mexico is a country that you want to do more research on. Now let's get into shopping. And we'll start our shopping tour with buying local. There's a big market just a few blocks from the main square, the Mercado Municipal. This is a main market in town and it offers a wide variety of fresh produce, meat, spices, and local products. You'll also find several little corner stores scattered across town. Look for stores with signs that say Fruteria for fruits and veggies, Carniceria, which is a butcher shop, Cremeria, which is where you find your cheese and dairy products, or Abarrotes, if you're looking for a snack or a quick basic product. These are widely available in any neighborhood. Also, there are tianguis, or farmers markets, which are scheduled on specific days of the week. You'll see them in parks or streets, and it's a great way to get fresh produce directly from the farmers and producers. There's also a Mercado de Artesanías downtown where you can purchase clothing, kitchenware, household goods, and decorations for your house. Also, I mentioned the growth in terms of art galleries, designer showrooms, and boutiques. So there are plenty of options to get almost all your things from local producers and artisans. Unless you're looking for a specific brand or you simply don't find the product that you want with the locals. Now, if that's the case for you, you have 3 supermarkets in town. However, don't expect enormous big box stores. Your options are Super Chedraui, Sodriana Express, and Bodega Aurrera. The only one that actually resembles a big supermarket is Chedraui. It has a wide variety of products, national and imported. While Bodega Aurrera and Soriana sell mostly national products, some imported, but don't expect a wide variety. I highly encourage you to get used to buying a lot of the national products. So for example, if you're really keen on getting a specific brand of canned tuna or canned peas, there's some really good Mexican products on those shelves. And it pays to buy local because a lot of these products don't have to pay those huge import fees in order for them to bring an international product on their shelves. So look for the Mexican products in any supermarket. It pays to try things out. Trust me, you will save a lot of dollars in the long run. There are no malls in Valladolid. You can find furniture stores, household goods, electronics, and things like that, as well as you can always order things from Amazon. But like I've been saying, this is an old town which is semi-secluded. Some people can feel attracted to this type of dynamic, but for others it could be a bit of a hassle. So, which one are you? Let me know in the comments down below. In any case, you're only just 2 hours away from Mérida, so there's always the option to hop on an ADO or book a cab, head to the big capital, get all the stuff you need, and go back to your peaceful little town. If you're living in Valladolid, you'll have access to a decent healthcare system. There are a lot of pharmacies here, many of them offering consultation services. These are known as Doc in the Box, which is a 50 pesos checkup if you're feeling a bit under the weather. If you need medication, the doctor is ready to give you a prescription, which you can get directly at the pharmacy. Easy peasy. Now, if you require specialized treatment, several private doctors and clinics are offering all kinds of specialties, as well as 2 big hospitals that are ready to treat all kinds of illnesses. These are Hospital General de Valladolid. This is a main public hospital in Valladolid. It has a wide range of medical services, including emergency care, surgeries, and general health care. The quality of care can vary, but it's an essential option if you're going to be living here. The other one is the Centro Médico San Lucas, a private hospital with a good rating offering pretty much the same services and specialties as a public hospital. Remember also that you're only 2 hours away from Mérida, a city well known for its first-class medical services. So if there's anything that you cannot find in Valladolid, or you're just dissatisfied with the medical service here, hit the road and go to the big city. The cost of medical services in Mexico tends to be way more affordable. And from what we've heard from our customers and other foreigners, the quality doesn't go down. I mean, you're not compromising on quality. If anything, you're getting upgrades, since many people mention there's more humanity in the service provided. However, keep in mind that most of these feedbacks or testimonies come from people whose experience is in private clinics and hospitals. If you want to make use of the public healthcare system, you may need to undergo a series of government procedures and paperwork, and also waiting times can be longer and supplies can be lacking from time to time, even medications. Whatever the case is, I always recommend staying in shape to avoid as many health issues as possible. You know that I'm a big advocate for walking, and walking is a great way to stay in shape. Now, living in a town like Valladolid to get from point A to point B is not only great, I would say it's really the best way. At least based on our visit, it's a very walkable town. So you understand what I mean? The town is so small that you could walk the entire town from north to south within an hour. If you want to be faster, you can get a bicycle. And it's not like you always have to walk the entire town, right? As I mentioned, in most of the neighborhoods are really well connected with small convenience stores, so whatever you may need could only take you a 5 to 10 minute walk. Now, if you're not into walking and carrying bags with things like groceries or other household items under the tropical sun nonetheless, you can get a bicycle or even a scooter, which are pretty famous in town. Other than that, there are taxis running around. You just need to hail them and they'll stop for you. They charge anywhere between 30 to 50 pesos for a trip inside the town. If you want to go to another town, there are buses called colectivos, which is basically a shared van or a bus that can take you to different destinations near Valladolid. There are no public buses in Valladolid. Like I said, it's really small, so there's no need for bus routes. There is, however, an ADO bus, which is a long-distance bus that takes you between two cities throughout Mexico. ADO buses tend to be luxury, they're very comfortable, and they connect major cities like Mérida, Cancún, Tulum, and the likes. And also, there's economic buses, which can take you to several towns in the area. The nearest airport would be the one in Mérida or the one in Cancún. Also, the famous Tren Maya, the Mayan train, will have a station near Valladolid, which is expected to bring even more tourism and infrastructure to sustain it. Either which way, there's many ways of getting around, and Valladolid is really not that big. So if you're a fan of walking and you like that small town feel, I really think this may be the city for you. Now let's get into things to do and what's the nightlife like. Because this is a Pueblo Mágico, the title is a government program that aims to boost the economy of a town with strategies that make the town attractive for tourists. However, don't think of Valladolid as a resort town. It's actually far from that. While yes, tourism is growing, and little by little the peaceful little town is becoming more of a tourism destination, it does still preserve its pueblito or small town charm. There are many touristy activities that you can undergo here. So if you're into doing things outside, there are things like swimming in a cenote right in the heart of downtown. Then you can eat at the deck restaurant that overviews a natural pool. Or you can take a guided tour through a bee farm, learn a lot about the many native species of the region, and also have a honey tasting. There are also a few museums and old buildings that you can visit and admire for its history and architecture, like the San Servacio Temple, which is the main church just in front of the main square. The San Bernardino Convent, which is at the end of the famous Calzada de los Frailes. Pretty much those are the two hotspots in town. The main square is surrounded by several restaurants, rooftops, boutiques, and craft stores. At night, it gets alive by the many food stands and artisans that come to sell their products. But it's not a party town by any means, so even if there are bars and some restaurants that stay open late, it's not as noisy as other pueblos mágicos such as San Miguel de Allende, for example. Now you can also walk by La Calzada de los Frailes in the direction to the convent. You'll see a lot of small showrooms, boutiques, nice restaurants. It has a different vibe than downtown. Still a bit touristy, but let's just say a bit more hipster. Anyway, it's not like those are the only places where you can find nice food and drinks. Walk all around the many streets and alleys surrounding the downtown, and surely you'll come across some hole in the walls. Now, again, I'll mention it again, this is not a party town, and while you can find a party, don't expect something intense. This town is more about relaxation and connecting with nature. There is an endless number of cenotes around Valladolid, and all of them are of easy access. If you don't know what a cenote is, it's a really, really cool natural sinkhole with beautiful, clean, fresh water. It's a great place to go swimming, especially since Valladolid tends to get pretty hot. You can take a colectivo or hire a private taxi. The options are limitless on how to get to these. The entrance fee depends on who runs the cenote, but normally prices start at around 150 and can go up to 500 pesos or more, depending on the facilities, amenities, and the activities that are offered in the park. You can't go wrong with a cenote trip. Not only is it the perfect way to manage the unforgiving heat, but these mystical places are always a full experience. Their waters are super relaxing. And if you're up to some thrill, you can look for parks that have things like zip lines, ATVs, or even horseback riding. Also, the majority of these places are family run, and most of them offer regional cuisine. So like I said, it's a full experience. Now talking about food, well, you're in one of the best places in Mexico if you're a foodie. Yucatan's food is among the top 3 in Mexico, hands down, at least by Mexico Relocation Guide standards. Seriously, if you enjoy eating as much as we do, you'll love living in Valladolid, anywhere in Yucatan. While there has been an increase in international food restaurants, the regional food still predominates the eating out panorama. And oh boy, I've never heard of someone who didn't like Yucatecan food. There are things like sopa de lima, queso relleno, torta de lechon, cochinita pibil. These are just a few of the dishes that we can mention, and Yucatan is one of the places that if you move a few miles away to another town or village, they have a different recipe. So keep exploring and eating, and you'll never get bored. You're also very close to some of the most visited archaeological sites like Chichen Itza, which is only a 40-minute drive away. And there are always colectivos coming back and forth, so that's a very, very affordable way to get there. You're also very close to Ekbalam, which is a 30-minute drive in another major ancient Maya city. 50 minutes away from Coba, which is in Quintana Roo, but it's also a great site to visit. There are colectivos or these shared buses that can take you to any of these places. Valladolid might feel a bit secluded or just like a small town, but it really isn't. You're well connected by several options of public transportation, so if you get bored, it's because you're really not looking for things to do. I hope that you enjoyed discovering this charming town with us. It was truly a great experience to be there and explore this small town. Its charm and peacefulness embrace you, and you feel like home right away. It's hard to explain. That's why I recommend you give it a try. We make a great effort to give you a taste of the town with our videos, but really you have to see them for yourself. So if you're seriously considering Mexico and Valladolid as your new home, come visit, stay for a couple of weeks, or even a couple of months, experience the town, talk to the locals, get a good idea of what you can expect, eat a lot, and then make a decision. And if you don't want to be alone in the process, visit our website, mexicorelocationguide.com. Subscribe to our free newsletter. We give you a lot of free tips on how to move to Mexico the right way. So this is an hasta pronto, my dear friends. I'll see you very soon in our next chapter. Thank you so much for visiting Valladolid with us. Nos vemos.